Tuesday by 3 federal judges, with the court affirming the settlement. About 4,000 former Trump University students could receive up to 90% of the tuition they paid for real estate seminars. Simpson's attorney, Gary Freeman, told Politico that his client will give up her pursuit to take the case to trial. Freeman said, "I'm not surprised, but we are disappointed that there will never be a public trial on Trump University and that all of the lurid facts about the fraud won't receive the public hearing they deserve." Trump has already paid the $25 million settlement in the case, but the payout to former students was being held in escrow until Simpson's complaint was resolved.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and Numery supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.
Reuters reports the world's most powerful rocket, the Falcon Heavy from SpaceX, roared into space through clear blue skies in its debut test flight on Tuesday from a Florida launch site where moon missions once began, and another milestone for billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk and his private rocket service. The 23-story tall jumbo rocket, carrying a cherry red Tesla Roadster from the assembly line of his electric car company as a mock payload, thundered off its launch pad in billowing clouds of steam and rocket exhaust at 3:45 p.m. from the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral. Within 3 minutes, the Falcon Heavy's two side boosters separated from the center rocket in one of the most critical points of the flight. Then, capitalizing on cost-cutting reusable rocket technology pioneered by SpaceX, the two boosters then flew themselves back to Earth for safe simultaneous touchdowns on twin landing pads at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station about 8 minutes after launch. Each rocket unleashed a double sonic boom as it neared the landing zone. Musk told a post-launch news conference the center booster rocket, which SpaceX had predicted was less likely to be salvaged, slammed into the Atlantic Ocean, destroying two of its thrusters and showering the deck of the nearby drone landing vessel. The successful liftoff was a key turning point for space exploration technologies, which stands to gain a new edge over the handful of rivals vying for lucrative contracts with NASA, satellite companies, and the U.S. military. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Japan grants suffrage to female robots, and a hypochondriac maple tree is always convinced it has Asian longhorn beetles. The following two statements are true. The previous statement is false, and this is the Onion Week in Review. This week, Americans nationwide were stunned to hear horrific allegations on Wall Street revealing that numerous junior bankers have been forced to survive on a mere $6,800 per week. The findings, which implicate numerous high-profile financial institutions such as Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, and Citibank, suggest that hundreds of first-year bankers are constantly deprived of basic necessities, including penthouse apartments overlooking Central Park and regular company-financed vacations to the French Riviera.
Many of these bankers are 23 or 24 years old and don't even have access to an expense account of over $50,000 a year. Not only that, but some of them are making as little as 20 times minimum wage. I mean, this is truly disgraceful.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We will take your calls about whatever's on your mind. All you have to do is dial in to join us here. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well, and the Skype username is lrn.fm. In the studio with you tonight, you've got Ian.
And Darryl.
Of course, you can bring up anything that you want. That's the point of the program. I've actually had a story from the New York Times that I've been sitting on for a couple days. We haven't had a chance to get to it. We actually haven't talked much about cryptocurrency in the last couple of weeks here on Free Talk Live. And that's just, coincidental. The price, of course, we have mentioned what has been happening, and that is that the price has been on a major, over time, drop over the last few weeks, from as high as around $19,000 to as low as, I think, close to $5,000. I think it hit scraped down to like $5,000 or close to it.
Oh, wow.
Earlier this week. It's now we're in the middle of the week here, and it's bounced back just a little bit to around $8,000 today, actually just dipping down below that just recently. And, of course, this has allowed all of the people who had said, it's a bubble, to go out there and yell about, see, I told you so.
Oh, including Peter Schiff, who was posting something on Twitter, and then one of my Facebook friends had taken a screenshot and then said, yeah, he correctly predicted when it went from $200 down to $20, and then from this other big, huge number down to this other smaller number, and then from 19,000 down to 10,000. See, he's correctly predicted all of the... But the numbers just keep getting
But it's going to
higher.
zero, Darryl. See, it's going to zero, even though the numbers are getting higher over time.
Yeah.
Now, anything can happen. We're not investment advisors. We don't know anything, and I don't think
As we said on Monday, and somebody called in to yell at us to say that,
we don't know
yeah,
what we're
you're
talking
not
about.
investment advisors, but people can predict the future, but I'm not going to predict the future unless you pay me.
Now, you know what I love about this new setup that we have here that we just started within the last month here on Free Talk Live? We've got a Twitch stream. We've got a Discord now. And that guy that came on the show toward the end on Monday night that you're talking about showed up in the Discord a few minutes later and just went at it with some of the chatters in there. It was pretty ridiculous. So now, some of your favorite and least favorite callers from on the air, you can find them in our Discord.
Now, I do think it's interesting because for years, there's always been, and I don't know, maybe you've updated the website to remove the IRC chat.
No, it's still there.
From the cam page.
It's still there.
But that chat seemed to basically have, gone pretty dead.
Yeah, well, it was taken over by
some of the
It was taken over by some of the alt-right trolls, and just nobody really paid enough attention to it to care about it. And I don't think that since people weren't paying attention to it, I think the alt-right trolls probably gave up on it as well, because, why troll in an empty chat room? But
I stopped going into the chat room well before, the alt-right became sort of a, common thing that
and you
people
thought it was
talked
dead
about.
back then.
And it was dead back in like 2013.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's old. It's the internet relay chat. It's an old system. It's not the prettiest of things to look at. It's not the most user-friendly, but it's been around for a long time, and it does continue. I don't know if anyone's in it right now, but I can tell you that the Discord does have people in it pretty much every single night, and according to the server statistics right now, last time I looked, we were just under 300. We have now crossed through 300 members, 320 members on the Discord. Now, that doesn't mean that they're all, still visiting. It just means they came and signed up at one point. But there are people there, so go and check that out over at discord.lrn.fm. All right, so jumping into the story here, the headline is, as Bitcoin bubble loses air, frauds and flaws rise to the surface. You didn't have to be a technophobe to worry that the virtual currency boom of the past year papered over plenty of problems. The scale of those problems is starting to become clear as digital tokens have slid more than 50% in value from their peaks in early January, with steep drops on Monday pushing the value of Bitcoin specifically below $7,000.
All right. So I'm guessing whoever is writing this is using the term cryptocurrency and tokens interchangeably.
Yes, this is Nathaniel Popper from the technology section of the New York Times.
Okay. I'm...
You can call them tokens, I suppose, but
you can't. But there are things that are specifically within the cryptocurrency world that are tokens that are distinct from the cryptocurrency itself.
That's true.
So Ethereum is a cryptocurrency that has a platform that allows people to create tokens.
That's right. Either this guy doesn't know that, or he does know it, and he's using the term token to sort of to disqualify cryptocurrency.
Right, because
make it sound like something you get in an arcade.
Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
Yeah.
They're only useful in Chuck E. Cheese. You can't take a Chuck E. Cheese token and put it in a Dr. Pepper vending machine at Walmart.
Right. Yeah, they're useless outside of Chuck E. Cheese. Nobody gives them any value whatsoever. So, yeah, that may be his intention.
Except for the people that want Chuck E. Cheese tokens and,
good luck
I
finding
happen
those
to
people.
have some. Well, there are always people that, I want to take my kid to the Chuck E. Cheese.
I guess now you can probably find somebody on eBay who wants to sell some Chuck E. Cheese tokens. But back in the day when you and I were growing up, they were useless outside of Chuck E. Cheese. So let's see here. Anyway, back to the story. I suspect that that's probably the reason why he's using the term token is to, sort of quietly discredit
right. So either
cryptocurrency.
he doesn't realize it and is just making a mistake,
Right.
or he's intentionally trying to discredit all cryptocurrencies.
Let's go on and determine that as we go, as we get more of what he has to say here. Hackers draining funds from online exchanges. Ponzi schemes, government regulators unable to keep up with the rise of so-called cryptocurrencies.
All right.
Now, there you go, so-called cryptocurrencies. So,
Well,
in case you needed to know how this guy felt about it.
Oh, I was just going to comment on the Ponzi scheme and hacker thing, because hackers wind up not just going after cryptocurrency, they also go after credit cards and bank accounts and all of these other things in the very heavily regulated markets.
Sure, and look at all the leaks with the, million plus 140 million or whatever it was from the TransUnion or Equifax, or I forget which one it was, but one of those credit companies.
Basically, everybody old enough to have a credit report.
Almost.
I never signed up to wind up having TransUnion create one for me.
You didn't have to.
But they have one.
Right.
And then there was also the thing where voter data wound up getting leaked from that interstate cross-check system. But then he also mentioned Ponzi scheme. Who was the guy a couple of years ago that wound up going to prison for some really long time because he was doing that Ponzi scheme through some very heavily regulated market?
Oh, I don't know. One of those financial guys, though. I know you.
As soon as I hear the name, I'm going to say, "Oh yeah, it was that guy."
I bet the chat room knows. Anyway, let's continue here on Tuesday. Signs of trouble have appeared at
Bernie Madoff.
There you go. At nearly every level of the industry, from the biggest exchanges to the news sites and chat rooms, where the investment frenzy has been discussed. On Tuesday, the leaders of the two main regulatory agencies in the United States that oversee the technology, the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, are to testify before the Senate Banking Committee about their efforts to police virtual currency markets. In the past 2 weeks, both have brought major cases, but people in the young industry said regulators had barely made a dent. Some virtual currency enthusiasts argue that the problems are no different from what has happened in other booms, like the internet bubble of the 90s. But even true believers say the design of virtual currencies, meant to cut out middlemen and government authorities, has made bad behavior more prevalent amid this particular bubble. Kevin Werbach, professor of the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School, said, quote, "Cryptocurrencies are almost a perfect vehicle for scams. The combination of credulous buyers and low barriers for scammers were bound to lead to a high level of fraud if and when the money involved got large. The fact that the money got huge almost overnight before there were good regulatory or even self-regulatory models in place made the problem acute. See, if only we had the government regulating the business of cryptocurrency, the world of cryptocurrency.
Oh, like they regulate all of the other things.
Everything.
And too big to fail? Banker bailout, anyone?
Right, because the government has completely kept scams out of all of the other money markets in the world. The toll-free number here is...
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
You've heard of Bitcoin Cash, but did you know there's now a Bitcoin Cash wallet? The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Yeah, it is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And the Skype username is lrn.fm. Plus, we got a Discord on-air call-in line that you can utilize. You'll sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with us if you go to discord.lrn.fm and get started in there. It's a chat room system where you can interact with other Free Talk Live listeners and some of the hosts. Also, I want you to know about Zencash. We've talked about Zencash recently on Free Talk Live. I'm happy that they're on as a sponsor. And when I was initially, when they were interested in sponsoring Free Talk Live, you know, we don't just take anybody. We like to look at who's coming on board. And so I did some due diligence and looked into Zencash and was pleasantly surprised to find out that they're actually a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. They even talk about voluntarism in their white paper. Good luck finding other cryptocurrencies that do that. If they exist, I'd like to know about it. But Zencash has it, and they've also got some of the best tech out there, like zero-knowledge anonymity, and they're building decentralized autonomous organizations for governing the currency. In fact, I just got an update from the Zencash folks today. There are over 6,700 secure nodes that make up Zencash, and that makes them one of the strongest blockchains on the internet. Plus, they're also approaching 50 team members, which they originally started at 5 in 2017. So that shows an interest from the programmers out there.
Yes.
These are programmers from around the globe who have decided they want to help create Zencash. They want to help with this decentralized currency that is, as I said, dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. It's available on 6 exchanges as we speak around the globe, including an anonymous exchange. You can get more information about all that over at zencash.com. And it's an international currency because it's actually available. The wallet softwares are available in multiple languages. So if if you know people who don't speak English, they can still get into Zencash
and on multiple platforms.
Correct. So zencash.com. Go there, learn about it, do your due diligence, and check out Zencash. Zencash.com. As we continue here, as we are talking about cryptocurrencies and the hit piece here so far, at least in the New York Times, using terms like so-called cryptocurrency. Well, what else would be called a cryptocurrency? Are you suggesting that they're masquerading as though they were a cryptocurrency? No, that's the term that describes things like Bitcoin and other things that are cryptographically secure and open source to where anybody who wants to, who's like, I don't believe you're secure. Well, if you know your programming, you can go in and you can read the code and you can figure it out yourself whether or not it's actually secure. Unlike, let's say, Ripple, which is frequently listed as a cryptocurrency, but is in no way, shape, or form an actual cryptocurrency. But most of them are. When you go to coinmarketcap.com, you look down that list. Most of these are open source cryptocurrencies that are secure, and whether their networks are powerful like Zencash or not is another question.
Right, and I'm not sure that the definition of cryptocurrency requires that it be open source.
Maybe not, but historically they have been. Because how else do you know that they're cryptographically secure? You just have to take somebody's word for it. And so therefore, if you can't prove it, cryptocurrencies are built on you don't have to trust it because you can verify, right? Whereas banks are built on trust us. We've been around forever. We've been around since 1790. We're an old institution. We're tied in with the government. We're federally insured. Trust us. And of course, if the federal government decides they want to come by and take a haircut off the top of your bank account, as they did in Greece a little while back, if the federal government decides they want to do that here, I'm going to tell you right now, your bank isn't going to stop them. They're not going to there's not going to be some agent standing in the doorway of the vault saying, nope. Our customers have entrusted us with their savings.
Oh, you're assuming they would have to actually walk into the vault. It's all digital, so they just, boop, everything above what the FDIC insures.
Yeah, so that can happen. Boop. And that's why, again, cryptocurrencies, you don't just take somebody's word for it, or at least you don't have to. Right, because you can verify. If you don't know how to program, you could hire a programmer that you trust to go in there and verify it for you.
And then the conspiracy theorist would say, but then you've got to trust that the programmer that you hire is actually telling you the truth.
That's true. At some point, unless you can do it yourself, you have to trust some sort of an expert. But the fact that the code is available for these things means that it is auditable. Unlike your bank, your local bank, you don't get to go down there and look at their books.
Right.
Even if you've been a long-time customer. So if you want to join us here, you're welcome to respond to this New York Times article. Hit piece is what I'm calling it on cryptocurrency. They interviewed some so-called expert from the Pennsylvania Wharton School, Kevin Werbach, who claims that cryptocurrencies are an almost perfect vehicle for scams. The combination of credulous buyers and low barriers for scammers were bound to lead to a high level of fraud if and when the money involved got large. Now, let me say something on that. We recently, me and Chris Reitman, our Thursday night co-host, we actually had a meeting with a local bank president. I'm not going to say which bank, but nice guy and interested in learning about cryptocurrency. We actually spent
not Jamie Dimon.
No, definitely not. This is a local bank. Jamie Dimon's the CEO of Chase. Which is local to the United States. And you've got actually news about Jamie Dimon that we can talk about here in a little bit. But no, I mean local here in the Monadnock region of New Hampshire. And so we went in, we had a meeting with this guy, and we met with him and talked with him about cryptocurrency for over an hour. And he was interested, right? Like he was asking questions, very, very interested. And we ended up talking to him about some of the scams that have happened because Chris runs a little shop called 101 or Route 101 Local Goods. It's got a Bitcoin vending machine in there, and every now and then people will come in and they'll buy cryptocurrency from the machine. It also sells Dash, so it's actually a cryptocurrency vending machine. And we just kind of talked about how there are some scams that have been done on some of these people, like an old lady that's come in saying she needs to get Bitcoin for her boyfriend who's in his 30s in Africa. She's never met him, but she's going to buy him Bitcoin because she's in love, and they're going to get married someday. And so Chris, tried to talk her out of doing this. And there's other people who, have been told that they're going to get a car if they just send Bitcoin to this address. And, well, guess what? The bank is always coming across scams like this, with people coming in with like, oh, if I wire this amount of money to this place, I'm going to get a car. Or it's the same thing.
There's the Nigerian prince scam of send me your bank account routing information and I will deposit $40 million.
Or sometimes what they'll ask you to do is wire them money, and then they promise to wire you back even more money. It's the same thing with Bitcoins. Some of the Bitcoin scams. One of the local merchants here got caught up in a scam where she admittedly got a little greedy, and she didn't she didn't do her due diligence, and she just took somebody's word for something, saying that, and he made a promise, this person online made a promise that was obviously, at a glance too good to be true. It was like, well, send me X Bitcoin and I'll send you 3X Bitcoin. Right. Something like that within 48 hours or something ridiculous. Even within 4 weeks, it would be ridiculous to say you'd be able to get 3X Bitcoin back. But nonetheless, she was like, oh, well, I made all this money on Bitcoin anyway, so I figured, F it, why not? Let's see what happens. And she lost, $1,200.
Right.
Or whatever. So the thing I was pointing out here is the scams are money-based scams, and they exist across cryptocurrency to U.S. dollars to you fill in the blank, whatever fiat currency, old banking system. They exist all over the place. It's Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that tenth of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free here to bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Free Talk Live brought to you by Bitcoin.com. You're new to cryptocurrency? That's okay. It can be a scary world. There are scams out there. So go and get the basics about what Bitcoin is. Get started. Wade into the shallow end. Don't jump right into the deep end. Go to Bitcoin.com, and you can learn the basics there. If you are not new to Bitcoin, however, and you want to get the latest news headlines, they've also got a great news site. So head over to news.bitcoin.com to access that. You can get involved in their mining pool for either Bitcoin Core or Bitcoin Cash over at pool.bitcoin.com. Once again, head over to Bitcoin.com and get yourself educated in the world of cryptocurrency. And that's what we're discussing here tonight, is the latest hit piece against crypto and Bitcoin, specifically in the New York Times, which is entitled as Bitcoin Bubble Loses Air, Frauds and Flaws Rise to the Surface. And then they go on to discuss the high level of fraud with Bitcoin. And as you pointed out and you touched on earlier, Darryl, there's a high level of fraud with cash and bank accounts.
Yes.
In fact, we were just meeting with a bank account.
Checks.
Right. We met with a bank president the other day. A lot of businesses won't even take checks because there's so much fraud. I remember going into a gas station, and I think it was in like Hillsborough, New Hampshire, and seeing a couple of checks up on a corkboard, like the wall of shame, where, identifying who it is that's writing bad checks out there. Look out for these people. So, that's been going on for decades. And these wire transfer schemes and frauds, not just wire transfers, but with remittance companies, if you've ever gone to send a Western Union or a MoneyGram, there's warnings emblazoned all over the place. Like, if you don't know the person you're sending money to, you're probably involved in a scam.
Yes.
It's all over the place. So for this guy from the Wharton School in Pennsylvania, for him to say that, well, if we only had regulation, this would have solved the problem.
We need to regulate cash to keep people from counterfeiting. Wait, no.
Well, the money business.
We need to regulate credit cards, and then nobody can ever do
credit card fraud.
Wait. Yeah. Chargebacks happen all the time.
Yeah, there's plenty of regulations on the traditional financial industry, and it's rife with fraud too. In fact, there are some things about the old financial business that make them easier to defraud people. How about the skimmers, the credit card skimmers you might have heard about, the piece of hardware that sits inside of a like a gas pump credit card.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those.
Unit. And it's basically skims off. It still allows the pump to work, as I understand it, but it skims off with a magnetic reader the data from that magnetic strip on the backside of your credit card.
Because what it does is it's a little thing that goes over the credit card slot, so it sticks out a little bit more.
Some of them might not stick out. I don't know if they all stick out. Some of them might go in. I've not done a lot of research on what all the skimmers look like, but so anybody walking up to that pump is going to get skimmed.
And then there are also RFID readers that people can buy for, I'm not going to say relatively cheaply, but compared to buying, like a house, it's relatively cheap, and you can walk around, and anybody with one of those chip card things, if it's not in some RFID protected whatnot, somebody with one of these things, name, credit card number, all that info.
Or how about just the old-fashioned way of a clerk that is not trustworthy at the local shop, just copying down your information.
Right.
They can do that too.
And here's what I was looking into some of the big scams. One of the ones listed on 8 vile Craigslist scams to watch out for from a website called Wisebread. Number 2 is receiving an overpayment on anything. So let's say you're the prospective buyer, or rather the
seller.
The prospective buyer will send you a check that is for much more than the agreed upon price, usually saying, I sent a down payment for 2 months of rent instead of just 1. Wire me the difference. Of course, however, the check they've sent you is fake, but the bank will cash it and then discover that it's fake later because the weird banking system, it takes 5 days for them to figure anything out.
And most of them will go ahead and look like they're crediting the account in the meantime.
Right.
So then they just yank it back 3 days later.
So by the time the bank finds out, you're out of pocket and the scammer has a pocket full of money.
Right, because you wired the funds, which is a same-day transfer. They got the funds and walked right into their bank and cashed it out. So even if you were to call the bank and say, oh, no, I got scammed, well, they can look at the wire and say, well, we know where the wire went to, and we could try to pull it back, but the money's already gone, so sorry about that. Next time, be more careful.
Yeah.
So the fall, this back to the hit piece here. The fall from the peaks of early January has been dizzying. The value of all outstanding virtual currencies has been cut by more than half, down over $400 billion as of Monday, according to the website CoinMarketCap.com. And that's true. It's been a bloodbath out there. I mean, Bitcoin, or cryptocurrency as a whole, all the cryptos combined together. There's an interesting chart over at CoinMarketCap.com that it peaked up over $800 billion global market cap, and it did drop to around $400 billion, a little bit less than that, I think, recently. I don't have it in front of me, but yeah, it's dropped significantly. In January, the heads of the main regulators wrote in the Wall Street Journal that the situation presented an unprecedented challenge. Quote, "These markets are new, evolving, and international," said Jay Clayton, the Securities and Exchange Commission's chairman, and J. Christopher Giancarlo, his counterpart at the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, wrote, quote, "as they require us to be nimble and forward-looking," which, of course, government agencies aren't particularly known for their nimbleness or their ability to predict the future.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good comparison of their nimbleness and forward-thinkingness or foresight, but I can't think of anything that clumsy and nearsighted.
Yeah, so the suggestion here is that regulators could do something if they wanted to, and I'm here to tell you that they can try, but ultimately all they'll succeed in doing is shutting down legitimate business for the most part. There may be the occasional exception to that, and they'll give you one example of that coming up here in moments. But like you look at the New York bit license that started in 2015, which was the first U.S. state to actually put in regulations over the industry of cryptocurrency. The bit license doesn't technically stop businesses from accepting crypto. So like at a point of sale, if you were to be buying something in like a mom and pop store and you wanted to pay crypto and they wanted to accept crypto, then the New York bit license wouldn't get in the way of that. But for companies that are doing like full-on business with cryptocurrency, like the exchanges, for instance.
Or the payment processor that mom and pop store is using, it requires them to not only keep a record of every customer in New York, it requires them to keep a record of every customer in the world because they're doing business in New York.
And so some companies have just decided, we don't want to do business in New York anymore. If you live in New York, we're sorry, we're not going to do business with you. You'll get warnings or error messages if you go to shapeshift.io and you're coming from a New York IP address.
Yep.
That's one of those online anonymous exchanges. They're just basically saying, yeah, no, this just isn't worth it to us. Sorry. Now, of course, if you get a VPN service, then Shapeshift will have no idea that you're in New York. So there are ways to get around these things.
Correct.
Let's go on, though, from the New York Times. Government agencies in the United States have shut down a few notable frauds. Early last month, securities regulators in Texas and North Carolina issued cease and desist orders to BitConnect, an operation that had grown to be worth $3 billion. But those moves only came after BitConnect had operated openly for months, collecting hundreds of millions of dollars from people around the world, despite being labeled a Ponzi scheme by many prominent people in the virtual currency industry. BitConnect offered tokens on a decentralized network similar to Bitcoin, but promised regular payouts to coin holders. In January, the CFTC shut down MyBigCoin, a purported swindle that had attracted $6 million. We'll continue here with your calls and thoughts. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. 855-450-3733. But what are U.S. regulators going to do about a scam that's operating out of some other country where they don't have any jurisdiction?
Bomb it?
I hope not. This is Free Talk Live.
Live from the Verticoin studio. This is the call to freedom. It's the crypto hour brought to you by Helium 47 here on LRN.FM. When you hear the faucet, be caller 5 to get some free coins. This is the call to freedom.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
You don't follow the herd. You blaze your own trail. And you're as adventurous in the kitchen as you are in life. Whether it's paddleboard yoga or Peruvian steak, you're the first to try new things. So are we. We're Green Chef, the first USDA-certified organic meal kit delivery service. We offer delicious meal plans for 7 different lifestyles: paleo, gluten-free, keto, vegetarian, vegan, carnivore, and omnivore. Want to be the first of your friends to try Green Chef? Discover our exclusive introductory deal by texting the keyword FUN66 to 543543. We believe that cooking, just like life, should be all about experience and flavor. And by exploring dinner options with Green Chef, you'll try new recipes, techniques, and ingredients for bold, new restaurant-level flavors. It's like enjoying a new cooking class, but in your own home. To experience this culinary adventure, text now and discover our exclusive introductory deal. Text FUN66 to 543543. That's FUN66 to 543543.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. Of course, you can join us on the radio. Bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Skype in at Skype username LRN.FM or call us on the on-air call-in line through our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. With you in the studio tonight here, you've got Ian.
And Darryl.
Earlier this afternoon, we did the very first ever scheduled video game live streaming on our new Twitch channel. We started doing Twitch broadcasting back in January. I think it's been about 3 weeks to a month, maybe a month now, since we started doing Twitch. And the reason why was because YouTube kicked off our LRN.FM live stream for some sort of mysterious violation of their terms of service that they refused to explain. And they banned the live stream for a month. So I said, well, why bother? It wasn't like anybody was really watching that particular feed in any meaningful sense. So let's look at other options. And Twitch was another option, and it is a great option because there's a lot of people already there. It's one of the most popular video streaming platforms out there. But it was all about video games initially, and they started to expand out from there to allow other categories. So there actually is a talk shows category. So once I found that out, I thought, okay, well, this could work. And so we started streaming Free Talk Live and Call to Freedom, which is our LRN.FM's other show that happens live here in the LRN studios in Keene, New Hampshire. And so, we've already got 6 hours a day of live audio content going out on our Twitch stream. But in this case, we're now going to start doing video game streaming because it is a game streaming service. So,
video game streaming that is not also being broadcast on LRN.
Correct. So it's the only thing, it's only being broadcast on the Twitch channel. It would be dumb to stream video game audio over the Liberty Radio Network. So
I didn't say it would be a wise use of broadcast time. Yeah. I'm just pointing out that, so there will be something different. For the first time that I'm aware of, there's going to be LRN content
in two places
that is specific to something other than LRN.FM.
Yep, that's true. And today we did our first one with Johnny Ray, who is a Free Talk Live Sunday night co-host and an avid gamer. Johnny Ray is a gaming addict, so I hope that we're going to see him back here more often than not. Because
addict generally implies that it's destructive to his life.
He has had to stop playing Hearthstone because it was getting to the point of him playing too much, to the point where he was playing for several hours every single day. And he's got a family on the way. I don't know if I can say more than that, but things are changing.
You probably said too much.
Yeah, things are changing for Johnny Ray here pretty soon. So he's not going to have a whole lot of time to play video games in
generally,
the future.
If somebody is addicted to something, they wind up missing work because of the other thing. They wind up not doing things that
that's
they're
a
supposed to be
extreme addiction. You can still be addicted to something and just kind of lose sleep, and you can still keep a job even though you have an addiction. You're going to lose something, whether it's your girlfriend, your job, your sleep, your sanity. You're likely going to lose something, but it's not necessarily going to be the job.
Interfering in your life.
Right. And that's what he said, man. I'm not putting words into the guy's mouth. He said he's got a problem. So we're going to help him feed his addiction by encouraging him to make money.
That's a bad idea.
Yeah, but what if you actually got paid to play video games? Johnny Ray made $1 today playing a video game. He wouldn't have made $1 if
somebody
he wasn't
wants
on
to pay me $1 to play, like Madden 2017.
You do it?
Okay. Provide me with Madden 2017.
Well,
provide me with.
We don't have that.
WWE 2K, whatever the latest edition
We don't have that
is.
either. So you'd have to like buy your own game, which means it might take a while to actually make the money back that you spent on the game. But regardless, if Johnny Ray hadn't played on the stream today, he wouldn't have made the $1, but he would have probably played the game anyway. So instead, he played it on our stream at 2 o'clock in the afternoon for about an hour. And there weren't that many viewers. I think we peaked at like 5 viewers. I mean, it's not like it's a big thing or anything like that. But one of those people tipped him $1 because you can do what's called in Twitch. You can do what's called cheering. So in addition to subscribing to the LRN channel and getting rid of advertisements that Twitch might be putting on the channel, that's like $5 a month, or you can use your Prime subscription because Amazon Prime users get 1 free subscription on Twitch every single month. But besides that, if you're just sitting in the channel and you like something that has happened in the channel, or you just want to, say yay or encourage the people who are doing that thing, you can do what's called cheering, and it's basically 1 point for a cheer is worth a penny. So Johnny got 100 cheer points today.
Okay, yeah. So this is what I had heard about, and I think I'd asked you right when you went on the Twitch, and you weren't entirely positive. As listeners probably know, if they're regular listeners, I'm a wrestling fan.
Yes, you are.
A podcast I was listening to where some local wrestling promotion, they broadcast their stuff on Twitch, and they were saying that there's a way for fans watching at home to give money to a certain wrestler during the show, and it must be that cheer thing to where I like fill in the blank wrestler, $3.
Exactly. And so somebody did that today, and so at the end of the session, I cashed Johnny out $1 afterwards. So if you like what you see Johnny Ray doing and you want to tip him, you can do that. I will tip him out in cash instantly, so that way he doesn't have to wait until, because like with Twitch, like with a lot of these online services, if you don't hit $100, they don't even cut you a check.
Right.
So yeah, Johnny walked out of the studio with some cash today, which is pretty cool. So we'll let you know when that happens again. I told him, hey, anytime you want to do it again, just let us know. We'll get you scheduled in there. I've been doing some occasional streaming just sort of on my own volition, not scheduling it. And so there you go. Twitch.lrn.fm. You can go over there. You can follow the channel for free, and we've got over 150 followers. So thank you for everybody that has, I think it's close to 150. Anyway, thanks to everybody who's done that. Let's go to your calls and thoughts. Here we go to the phones, to the amp lines. Hello, caller. Who's this?
Hey, it's Vankman, FEMA Region 9. How are you gentlemen tonight?
Vankman. Go ahead with your thoughts. We're great.
So, listen, what is your favorite Nintendo Entertainment System game of all time, or Famicom if you come from the Japanese side, and why is it not Mega Man 2 or Mega Man 3? I'll take my answer offline. Thank you.
For me, I've never heard of Mega Man 2 or 3.
You've never heard of Mega Man? You've heard of Mega Man, just not 2 or 3?
I've heard of Mega Man. I didn't know what. I didn't know it was a video game.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had 10 of them.
Let me guess. WrestleMania. That's your favorite Nintendo game.
Was WrestleMania ever a Nintendo game?
It sure was. I guess that's not your favorite then.
Yeah. I played, like Duck Hunt and Mario Brothers. And
you didn't grow up on video games?
No.
Favorite Nintendo game?
I grew up on go the F outside and ride your bike.
That's good. And you are now riding bikes and things like that all the time. So you've done well in that.
More running than riding.
In that department. Well, it's not really a bike riding time of year with the snow out there.
It's off season right now anyway.
I will answer this question, and I'm answering it as somebody who did grow up on a Nintendo Entertainment System. I was a child of the 80s, as you were, Darryl, and the Nintendo was the king video game system of the 1980s after the Atari. I mean, the Atari was the first king, and then the Nintendo dominated the last half of the decade.
Atari, was that the one that had Super Pitfall and Frogger?
Yes. Although other systems had Pitfall and Frogger, Atari was known for those titles, for sure. And so Nintendo Entertainment System, there's a huge catalog of games. I think there's over 700 games for this system. Obviously, I've only played, a few dozen of them at most in my lifetime. So of those that I'm familiar with, I got to say River City Ransom is the best Nintendo game. It's a lot like Double Dragon. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
Yeah, I've played that one.
Double Dragon was again, you always got to explain for listeners that don't know these things. Double Dragon was a very popular arcade beat 'em up where it was side-scrolling.
Yeah, fighting game.
It was like, you were like in the streets, in the back alleys of a city, and you'd fight with various characters. And this was a fairly early game in the 1980s.
Yeah.
Later in the 80s, a company called, I think it was American Technos, or Technos Japan or something like that, they made a side-scrolling fighting game where not only did you punch and kick and beat up guys as you would have in a game like Double Dragon, but they also added in role-playing game elements where you could kind of level up your character. You could make your character stronger. You could learn different attacks. You could buy things in shops. You could buy food. You could buy a sauna, and that sort of these things would like recharge your character in certain ways. So it took that sort of just plain old punch it if it moves fighting game thing, and it took it to a new level of I think of interest, and there was some level of a plot, but not really. It was like you were a couple of high school boys beating up all the gangs in the city to rescue your girlfriend or something like that.
Tecmo Bowl was a really good
that was a football game. Yep, back in the day, I remember that one. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And for River City Ransom fans out there, they made a sequel within the last year, and I've played it. I haven't played through it, but I do have it, and it was really good. Maybe that's one I should play on the stream.
Bill Walsh's college football favorite game.
Was that on the NES? More coming up.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, February 7th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.62 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,324 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $37, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,554. Antiwar.com reports the UN Conference of Disarmament on Tuesday in Geneva served as the latest venue for tensions between the U.S. and North Korea, with North Korean Ambassador Ju Yong-choi accusing the U.S. of seeking to fuel tensions with his nation and laying the ground for a possible preemptive strike. The North Korean ambassador has good reason to believe this to be the case, of course, as U.S. media outlets have for weeks been reporting the exact same thing, that the Trump administration is gearing up for a bloody nose attack on North North Korea, and such strike could come very soon. U.S. Ambassador Robert Wood, also at the conference, insisted everything was North Korea's fault, but did not appear to contest the idea that the U.S. was gearing up for such a sneak attack. Indeed, Wood said the U.S. believes North Korea is months away from having a retaliatory capability, comments which recently have been seen as arguing in favor of such a U.S. attack sooner rather than later, gambling that North Korea's ability to destroy U.S. cities with nuclear retaliation is overstated.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports a $25 million settlement against Trump University was upheld Tuesday after a federal appeals court rejected a challenge from one plaintiff who wanted to take the case to trial. The settlement, which was a result of a class action lawsuit brought by former students who said the school made lavish but unrealized promises about real estate success, was given final approval last March by federal judge Gonzalo Curiel, but Sherry Simpson, a plaintiff who spent $19,000 on Trump University workshops, wanted to opt out of the settlement and file a separate suit against Donald Trump. That request was denied Tuesday by 3 federal judges, with the court affirming the settlement. About 4,000 former Trump University students could receive up to 90% of the tuition they paid for real estate seminars. Simpson's attorney, Gary Freeman, told Politico that his client will give up her pursuit to take the case to trial. Freeman said, "I'm not surprised, but we are disappointed that there will never be a public trial on Trump University and that all of the lurid facts about the fraud won't receive the public hearing they deserve." Trump has already paid the $25 million settlement in the case, but the payout to former students was being held in escrow until Simpson's complaint was resolved.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and Numery supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.
Reuters reports the world's most powerful rocket, the Falcon Heavy from SpaceX, roared into space through clear blue skies in its debut test flight on Tuesday from a Florida launch site where moon missions once began, and another milestone for billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk and his private rocket service. The 23-story tall jumbo rocket, carrying a cherry red Tesla Roadster from the assembly line of his electric car company as a mock payload, thundered off to its launch pad in billowing clouds of steam and rocket exhaust at 3:45 p.m. from the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral. Within 3 minutes, the Falcon Heavy's 2 side boosters separated from the center rocket in one of the most critical points of the flight. Then, capitalizing on cost-cutting reusable rocket technology pioneered by SpaceX, the 2 boosters then flew themselves back to Earth for safe simultaneous touchdowns on twin landing pads at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station about 8 minutes after launch. Each rocket unleashed a double sonic boom as it neared the landing zone. Musk told a post-launch news conference the center booster rocket, which SpaceX had predicted was less likely to be salvaged, slammed into the Atlantic Ocean, destroying 2 of its thrusters and showering the deck of the nearby drone landing vessel. The successful liftoff was a key turning point for space exploration technologies, which stands to gain a new edge over the handful of rivals vying for lucrative contracts with NASA, satellite companies, and the U.S. military. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Republicans back a plan for universal lawn care, and an RC car works up the courage to approach a group of girls. And now a recap of the week's news for those who like to waste their summers surfing the internet. Fall, the long-running series of shorter days and cooler nights, was canceled this week after nearly 3 billion seasons on Earth. The classic period of the year, which once occupied the coveted slot between summer and winter, will be replaced by new stifling humidity levels and near-constant sunshine. A shiny, bobbing object in the water is generating fascination among members of the fish community, who have described it as pleasingly wiggly and minnow-esque. Aquatic experts say that decisive action must be taken against the object very soon. In local news, just when 27-year-old Andrew Sheets didn't think his vacation could get any better, a rerun of Spin City came on. And in other headlines, a bee stuck between the screen and front door is going nuts. And a water skier lets go of the crossbar to greet those not currently water skiing.
This is the Onion News Network.
This is Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live.
And you can bring up anything you want here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. As we continue here into the second hour of the program, you are, as always, invited to bring up whatever you want. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Darryl.
For those of you just tuning in, we're talking about a hit piece against cryptocurrency appearing in the New York Times technology section back a few days ago. This was February 5th, so that would have been Monday. When this was published, basically talking about, of course, the drop in price of Bitcoin, which a month ago was, or a month or so ago, was as high as $19,000, and it's now at around $7,000 or $8,000. So it's been a precipitous drop, and of course that has resulted in, as you might expect, the very people who claimed that it's a bubble coming out and saying how right they were. Now, of course, others would say it's still part of a growth curve, that this isn't a bubble, that it's just a temporary downage, and that in the beginnings of years previous, there have also been droppage in the Bitcoin price that has ultimately then recovered later on in the year. And they say that has to do with the Chinese New Year. I don't know whether that's true, but it's an interesting speculation.
Certainly seems to, kind of line up.
So, and then they go on to talk about some of the scams. And the claim here in the article is that if it were only, if only we had the government around, we would be able to. You hear that?
I'm hearing something. Sounds like somebody driving down the highway.
Yeah, it does. Weird thing is it's coming from our network. Anyway, so heads up to GCN. There's like some sort of noise coming down the line at us here.
Maybe they're driving down the highway.
Could very well be. Government agencies here, they say, have shut down a few notable frauds. They mentioned BitConnect, an operation that had grown to be worth $3 billion. I don't know if we talked in detail about BitConnect on here, except for the fact that they were targeted for shutdown, and that they really became prominent after there was some confusion around their ticker symbol, BCC.
Right.
Which last year there was Bitcoin Cash, which forked from the original Bitcoin back in August. It was the first time Bitcoin had ever forked, which means it split, the blockchain split.
First time there was a fork of the blockchain. The code had been forked numerous times.
Right.
And that's an important distinction.
Yeah, and this means that the blockchain, which is the guts of the operation, basically the technology that is an open ledger, a public ledger, a decentralized and distributed ledger, that there was a difference between the different teams, if you will, that were trying to program or move Bitcoin ahead into the future and get through some growing pains that they've been having. And they couldn't agree on how to grow Bitcoin, so they just said, well, rather than try to keep disagreeing or agreeing, we're just going to split off and do our own thing. And they did, and they created two competing forms of Bitcoin. One of those was Bitcoin Cash, and they wanted to use the ticker symbol BCC, and they started touting BCC everywhere as though it were their ticker symbel. And BitConnect already had been using BCC, and so BitConnect got all this investment in people who were like, I want Bitcoin Cash. And they went, I'm going to buy BCC. And they went and bought BCC, and BitConnect's value shot up big time in that time frame. I had not heard of BitConnect before that had happened.
Nor had I.
Right. And now BitConnect is done for, or at least that variant of it. I heard that some of the other scammers, I guess, launched a sequel to BitConnect or something like that.
Oh, I've not heard that.
I don't know. I haven't been paying close attention to it. But anyway, of course, the U.S. government can point to this now and say, see, we're protecting you. See, if you would just let us in here and we can do more regulation, then you'd be even more protected from things like BitConnect. Don't you want to welcome them into the Bitcoin business, Darryl? I mean, they're here to help.
Oh, wait. So they would wind up protecting us the same way they protected us from the housing bubble that the federal government actually wound up creating. Mm-hmm. They're going to protect us from the higher education bubble that, they again are creating that bubble. Mm-hmm. They're going to protect us from these businesses getting too big to fail. They enabled that to happen. All of these problems that they can protect us from are things that they either intentionally created or enabled.
According to the story,
Not just allowed, but enabled, and that's an important distinction.
Regulators have not gotten near most of the brazen schemes, however, that have popped up in the last year, many of which have been attacked by hackers first or simply shut down by their operators after money had been raised. So wait, what they're saying is the hackers went after the scammers? I mean, that's what they're saying here is that, oh, well, the government didn't get near most of the schemes because hackers took them down. So turns out we don't need the government anyway. If the hackers don't like something, they'll just go in there and destroy it. Some of them will.
And these are, the good hackers.
Right, the white hat hackers.
Yes, we're not talking about, like nefarious evil we're hacking into and stealing your credit card information.
Right. The new virtual currency Proof of Weak Hands coin, whose creators referred to it as a Ponzi scheme on Twitter and used a pyramid as their website logo, raised $800,000 before hackers got into their systems last week and drained their funds. Another pyramid scheme, MMMM, which was shut down in an earlier incarnation by the Russian government, has been revived thanks to the popularity of Bitcoin and is operating openly with particular success in Africa. One challenge facing regulators is that it's unclear how much of the deceptive activity that they can legally control. And that's one of the points that I think is important to make here. As we mentioned earlier, New York may indeed have a bit license that does run businesses, many legitimate businesses, out of their state because they don't want to jump through the licensing hoops. But they can't stop cryptocurrencies. They can try to regulate the companies that pop up around cryptocurrencies, but the cryptos themselves are basically protected by their distributed, decentralized nature, meaning that they exist simultaneously in thousands of locations all around the globe under several different political jurisdictions. The government, even if there was a world government, wouldn't be able to stop cryptocurrencies.
But even if there was, and I'll just play along and go off of this. Even if there was a world government thing and there was an outright prohibition of we are not allowing cryptocurrencies, anybody that uses them will go to jail.
Yep,
that's going to work about as good as the prohibitions on weed.
Certainly, I mean, it would go underground as weed sales have gone underground, and that may result in fewer products and services being offered for cryptocurrencies in the open market, but it won't go away. It'll never go away. People will still continue to use them for black market purposes.
And, some prison guard somewhere will smuggle a Bitcoin into an inmate because they smuggle weed.
Well, I mean, that doesn't make much sense unless the inmate has an internet connection, which most of them don't. That's probably not going to do them any good because you can't smuggle a Bitcoin in your butthole,
Right, but you can get somebody a smartphone. And
that's true.
Because there was somebody was in jail that called you from a smartphone.
That's true. It happened, supposedly.
Oh,
they texted me. They didn't call.
But whatever, they were communicating
while in prison.
While in some kind of lockdown on an unauthorized device.
Yep, I don't know if it was smuggled rectally, but it was definitely smuggled to them somehow by a guard. Anyway, some online groups try to openly manipulate the prices of digital tokens in what are known as pump and dump schemes. Similar schemes involving stocks are illegal, but people operating the groups recently told BuzzFeed they didn't think the same rules applied to virtual currencies. Many schemes have been able to expand quickly because they don't use bank accounts and therefore don't have to win approval from established institutions.
And he mentioned that pump and dumps are illegal in the regulated stock market. I think what's illegal in the regulated stock market is if you have some kind of coordination with someone in the business of we're going to inflate the price here.
Insider trading.
Yeah. So insider trading. But the pump and dumps generally are investors in the crypto. It's not the, insider in the company. Sometimes it might be. But then there's also the whole thing of cryptocurrencies. The ledger is supposedly immutable. Asterisk, see Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
But with, the regulated economy, no, we're just going to go back and undo all of these transactions that happened on March 42nd. And yes, I realize March 42nd is not an actual date, but since we're changing records, we can make March 42nd be a date.
So instead, they're able to use virtual currency wallets, and he puts that in parentheses or in quotes, without any approvals. And virtual currency transactions cannot be reversed like normal bank or even PayPal transfers. Generally true, but as you pointed out, Darryl, there are exceptions. Ethereum is the number 2 cryptocurrency by market rank. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
Downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Core and your Bitcoin Cash. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You may join us right here toll free if you would like. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, everything from Bitcoin to video games we've talked about here tonight. A bit of a technology episode thus far. The attack is coming from the New York Times on cryptocurrencies. putting the word cryptocurrency in quotes, putting the word wallet in quotes, just sort of looking down its nose at the idea of crypto, saying it's unsafe, saying it's rife with fraud. And ultimately, cryptocurrencies themselves aren't rife with fraud. They're just a currency.
Now, I don't have an issue with them putting the word wallet in quotes because it's not a physical wallet.
It's not the traditional wallet in what you're used to, but they're called wallets in the world of cryptocurrency. It's just, putting things like that in quotes, especially the word cryptocurrency, it just sort of suggests an attitude of, oh, this isn't a real thing.
Right.
And it is a real thing. There's real hundreds of billions of dollars worth of value in the world of cryptocurrencies. It may be code, it may be ones and zeros, meaning that you can't hold it in your hand necessarily, but they're very, very real in that people will trade you other real things for them. I can go, as you did today, I believe you spent Dash, which is a cryptocurrency, on your dinner tonight. You bought a pizza.
I did, yes.
A whole pizza.
Yes, from a take and bake. So they use gourmet ingredients. And
you bake it.
I baked it, and it was yummy, and I also had a blueberry soda.
Was that also paid for with Dash?
Yes, because I bought it at the same place that I bought the pizza.
And it works. So, yeah, it's a real thing. Whether the New York Times author here wants to, admit that, he wants to focus on the scams. And there are real scams as well.
Let's point out that, credit cards, for the most part, when you use them, it's also just ones and zeros that are being transferred around. When you use your checking account, you might have to, actually fill out a piece of paper, but then ones and zeros are being moved around. Your bank, the Bank of America, is not then sending $214.75 over to U.S. Bank when you write a check for that amount. It's ones and zeros that go between those banks.
Exactly right. Except the difference here, as the author points out, is that you're able to open up your own virtual currency wallet without any bank approval.
Good.
You don't have to sit there.
You used to, prior to the USA Patriot Act, you could just walk into a bank and say, my name is, I live at, I want to open an account.
Was it really that easy back then?
You didn't have to provide Social Security numbers.
Yeah.
You didn't have to provide forms of ID. Well, the bank may have requested ID, but there was no federal law that you had to provide ID. There was no federal law that you had to provide Social Security number. And I know because I've got friends that work at banks
who said
that after the Patriot Act went through, they were having to call a bunch of their old customers
to get their ID.
Hey, we need you to come in and give us these because we need these things to be on file. Yes, I know, Miss Smith. You've had the account here for 45 years.
But we got to do it.
You've never given us this information, but we have to get it now.
Or else we'll close your account.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's because the banks are basically just tools of the Federal Reserve System, and they are, there's very little difference between most of them.
Right. The banks are required to be members of the Federal Reserve System.
Or if they're a credit union, they're members
NCUA.
of the National Credit Union Association. So we'll continue here with more from the New York Times. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. But first, Dave Ridley is on the line with us. He's on Skype. Hello, Dave.
Boys, girls, and assorted malcontents.
No girls here tonight, just me and Darryl. Go ahead, though.
And or girls and or assorted malcontents.
All right, what's on your mind?
They might be listening.
So, in the spirit of supporting even the smallest thing that the Foundation for New Hampshire Independence does, I wanted to inform you of something small they've done.
I'm glad to hear they're doing something. It's there's not enough news coming from the Foundation for New Hampshire Independence. I wish we heard about them doing something awesome every month.
Well, what I can do is make sure that if they do something, if they so much as breathe in and out, I will call you and tell you about it generally.
Great. I love what they stand for, which is, of course, New Hampshire declaring its independence from the United States government.
They have set up it would be considered a room on Riot.
Okay. Riot is a chat platform that is, I would say
fairly difficult to use.
Yeah, I would. It would be hard for me to recommend Riot as a chat platform to the average user. The only person who really would be interested in Riot is the user who has an appreciation for security, and that's a valuable thing to some people. But it's so secure, and this is a compliment. It's not going to sound like it, but it's a compliment to Riot. It's so secure, it's annoying as hell. And so you're always constantly, if you don't have, if you know the person you're talking to, like Darryl, you and I were in the same room here.
Yes.
If we're on Riot, we can get on the platform together and we can verify the security keys on each of our devices. So you've got a smartphone, you've got a laptop, I've got a laptop, a PC, and a smartphone, and we can spend 5 minutes checking and making sure that we are who we say we are. That way we can know to some extent that we're actually talking to the person who we believe that we're talking to. And the thing with Riot is it does this security key thing for every device that you have. So it's a very, very secure platform, but it also means that if you're in a chat room with a group of people, every time somebody comes in with a new device, which means the larger the group of people, the more likely somebody's going to get a new cell phone or add a laptop or something like that, then it'll pop up a warning and say, oh, there's somebody here with a new device. Have you verified this person's device yet? And you can either try to verify, which of course takes time, or you can just say, screw it, send the message to them anyway.
But what's more annoying is when people enter the room and then click only share this message with people that I have done the
security thing,
secure thing with,
because then you can't read it,
and then you just get a chat room of you can't view this message, you can't view this message. Well,
it's super
screw
secure.
It. What's the point?
Well, the point is security for people that are
right,
interested
but what's
in
the point of me being in a chat room where all I get is you can't view this message?
There's no point.
Right. Which is why I stopped using Riot.
Yeah. So anyway, go ahead with what's going on there, Dave.
I guess another problem with Riot might be the name that they had to come up with for their NH Independence room, which is so long that I'm not sure that I should say it on the radio, but I will. It's #NHindependence.matrix.org. No, I'm sorry. #NHindependence : matrix.org.
Yeah, they all have to have the matrix.org.
And the hashtag thing is on all chat rooms in some kind of IRC sort of thing.
So the name of the room is only NH Independence, but you have to put the rest of that stuff in there to access it. And that has to do with the fact that the Riot platform is based on Matrix, which is a decentralized system for chatting. And that's a good thing. Like, it's good that it's not run centrally. It's good that anybody can spin up their own Matrix server and run their own rooms and connect to other Matrix servers. So, like, there's a lot of things for the security-minded and the sort of digital independence-minded people to like about the Riot platform. It's just not a platform that's going to get the average person excited.
If that's too complicated, then just go to NHExit and you'll navigate your way to our Facebook.
There you go. Dave Ridley, thanks for the call here tonight. I like Riot. I like what they're trying to do. It does have like voice and video features. If you can put up with the annoyances, it's pretty decent. There's more coming up.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Hawaii was a wake-up call. Don't be caught without a disaster shelter. Atlas makes an all-disaster shelter that will protect your family from fallout, tornadoes, and hurricanes for only $99.99. That also includes the NBC air filtration system, solid steel construction with an airtight, bulletproof door. That's right, for $99.99 and up. Call 1-855-4BUNKER or go to iwantthatshelter.com. Atlas Survival Shelters, the world leader in fallout shelters.
Despite a long-held consensus pointing to the mid-20s as the final stage of brain maturation, a new study has found that the adolescent brain doesn't fully form until boys have avenged their father's murder.
New imaging studies suggest that the frontal cortex goes through extensive changes during the period of training when an adolescent boy prepares himself to track down and kill the man who took his father's life. But it's not until the boy stares deep into the murderer's eyes and then stabs him right in the heart that the two lobes fuse into a fully mature brain.
According to Dr. Laurie's findings, the myelin surrounding the teenage nerve synapses develops when boys stake out the home of their father's murderer, put themselves through grueling physical training, and fantasize again and again about how satisfying it will be when he finally makes the bastard who took everything from him beg for his life.
Now, if they let their father's killer slip through their grasp, or if they press the barrel of a gun to the back of his head and then realize they don't have what it takes to pull the trigger, then the amygdala is definitively stunted, and they'll have lifelong problems interpreting emotional information.
This is the Onion News Network.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us on the radio waves here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Darryl.
All right, so you can join us here. You can bring up whatever you want. We've also got Skype. The Skype username is lrn.fm, or call us on the Discord on-air call-in line. Go to discord.lrn.fm and join our Discord there. Ian and Darryl here as we tell you about the Blink Home Security System that you can get for your home or your small office. Go to blinkprotect.com/FTL to get yours. You get 3 Blink cams for what some of the other guys might charge you for 1 cam. These are wireless cameras, which means they're super easy to install. The worst part about security systems, in my experience, is the installation of them. You've got to drill holes, you got to run wires, run them through walls. It's a pain in the butt, but if you've got a wireless system like you do with the Blink Protect system, then it's super easy. The Blink Home Security System can be yours, and all the batteries are included. You just unbox it, pop the batteries in, put the cameras where you want them, and set it all up wirelessly via your Wi-Fi-enabled device like a smartphone or tablet, and then you'll get the video clips of when something happens in front of your cams right on that very same device. Go to blinkprotect.com/FTL today. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. So we're talking about the virtual currency attack by the New York Times. They are trying to make the world of virtual currencies sound like a very scary place. They're talking about some of the scams, and let's be honest, there are scams involved. Just like there are scams of people trying to take you for money on Craigslist, or scams of people trying to take you for money by going to your bank and wiring them money. There have been scams forever with money.
A scam that I don't think has really happened in quite a few years because most people don't really do door-to-door sales anymore, but there used to be the home repair scams or the driveway
painting.
Painting
kind of
or driveway sealing sort of. Oh, yeah, we'll come back on Friday and do this thing, but you've got to pay us now.
Mm-hmm. Or they'll do a job, but they'll do some cheap work and then disappear from town and
show up, start
off.
doing the job. Oh, hey, we're taking lunch. We'll be back. And then they never come back, but you've already paid for the entire service.
And no amount of government licensing, no amount of government oversight or government regulations has stopped these scams from happening. So let's go on. The story here from the New York Times, again, talking about the recent drop in cryptocurrency prices, which has been pretty significant. I mean, there's been like a 50% drop going on here. Many schemes have been able to expand quickly because they don't use bank accounts and therefore don't have to win approval from established institutions. Instead, they're able to use virtual currency wallets without any approvals. Now, that's a true statement. It is easier to get a virtual currency, cryptocurrency wallet than it is a bank account. And while I understand why somebody would say that's a bad thing from the perspective of, well, anybody who wants to scam can just go and get an account, it also is a good thing because there are billions of people in the world who are unbanked, as they call it.
Right.
People who don't have access either at all to a bank just because they don't exist in their area.
Or people like Jay Noon, former sometimes occasional co-host on this show, where he doesn't have the documents that a bank would want.
Like a social security
for
number.
him to wind up opening a checking account.
Or a lot of people who are unbanked. Very few people are like Jay Noon, but there are some like that.
But there are people like him.
There are more people who've made mistakes in the past. You know, maybe when they were young, they did some irresponsible things with their money. They let a bank account lapse. They let it go into a negative balance. The bank tried to get them to settle it up, but because they were an irresponsible young person, they never did. And so the bank reports them to what's called check systems, which is one of the checking institutions out there that banks will run your information on. So when you go in to apply for an account, whenever that bank agent is tapping away on their computer, they're running you through check systems, and check systems is giving you a score, and the bank has a certain range in which they say, if the person scores in this range, open their account. If the person doesn't score in this range, tell them to have a nice day.
Right.
And we don't want their business. And so there are a lot of people who are unbanked because they can't get a bank account. If they wanted a bank account, they can't get it because they're blackballed from the banking system. That doesn't mean they're a bad person now. It just means they made some mistakes in their life. So anyway, and then there's people with bad credit, and then, so on and so forth. There's all these people that can't access a bank, but there's nothing that stops those people from going to open up a cryptocurrency wallet. You can get a crypto wallet by just going and downloading one. Now, you probably want to go with the more renowned wallets rather than some, new wallet that you've never heard of before, because you never know who's programming these things. But if you get a renowned wallet like, let's say, a Coinomi or a blockchain.info or one of these ones that are out there and they've been there for a while.
And you're talking about some of the multi-currency wallets, but if you want, say, the Zencash wallet, you should get the wallet that has been created
from Zencash
by Zencash.
Right.
If you want the Dash wallet, they have a wallet that they have created.
That's right. The official wallet.
The official wallet. You don't want to go to the website Free Wallet because
I've heard that's
they
a scam.
request info. I don't know if the wallets are bunk, but the first thing that happens when you download the wallet is login with Facebook.
Yeah, then you're attaching an identity to that wallet, whereas others don't require any kind of identity.
Right.
So again, they're trying to make that sound like it's a bad thing, but it's actually a really good thing that you don't have to ask anybody's permission. The length of time it takes to get a Bitcoin wallet or a cryptocurrency wallet is the amount of time it takes you to go to the Play Store or the App Store on your smartphone or wherever and download the wallet.
Yep.
I mean, opening up the wallet is super fast. You usually only have to punch in like a 4-digit lock code, and you're in. And that's it. You didn't have to ask anybody's permission. That's a perk. That's a benefit of using cryptocurrency. But they are correct that that also means that nobody really knows who is creating the wallets, and nobody really knows how many of the wallets that there are. And nobody, even though some of these systems are public, even though the ledgers are public, you don't always know who is behind one of the wallets on the system. So unless that person reveals that information. So if you were to go to bitcoin.freetalklive.com and you look there on our list of cryptos that we're accepting, then you can search the blockchain for our wallet address, and you can see all of the donations that have been made to that particular wallet address. Because again, it's a public address, and we've associated that address with us.
Right.
So now people know. But if we hadn't done that, then you wouldn't know.
But even though you've publicly attached yourself to a specific wallet, there's no way for people to easily identify where any of those funds are going.
Not easily.
If any of those funds are going to another wallet that you control.
True.
Yeah, sure. If somebody wanted to scour and spend a bunch of time and energy, they could probably maybe figure it out, kind of. But then they don't necessarily know for certain.
Sure. That's absolutely true. So with regulators, back to the New York Times, slow to crack down, the private sector has taken on a more important role. Facebook announced last week they would no longer allow advertisements for virtual currency projects. On Friday, JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America said they would bar customers from using credit cards to purchase virtual currencies. Citigroup followed suit on Monday. For investors, some of what has caused the most concern are well-intentioned businesses set up in a hurry with little outside oversight or time to work out the kinks. Coincheck, which until last month was one of the largest exchanges in Japan, announced on January 26 that they had lost nearly $500 million of a virtual currency known as NEM in what appeared to be the largest hack to hit the industry. Traders have been particularly worried about the largest Bitcoin exchange in the world, Bitfinex, an unregulated operation that has provided few details about its operations, raising concerns about whether it's insolvent or involved in price manipulation. In the United States, even the most widely used virtual currency company, Coinbase, has struggled to keep up with demand, shutting down trading for hours at particularly important moments and attracting widespread complaints about its customer service. And by the way, just because Coinbase is struggling to keep up with demand doesn't mean that that's a problem. That's just a growing pains that the company is having to deal with because they've been getting 100,000 signups a day.
Right. Nintendo was struggling to keep up with demand for the Nintendo Switch. Does that mean that video games should be regulated and they're a scam?
The toll-free number here tonight, 855-450-FREE like freedom. If you want to join us, you may do that, and you can take control of the airwaves. 855-450-3733. Coming up, what happens when you launch a Tesla into space? Darryl's got the latest on what's going on with SpaceX. We'll talk about that too here on Free Talk Live.
Live from the Verticoin studio. This is the call to freedom. It's the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium 47 here on LRN.FM. When you hear the faucet, be colorified to get some free coins. This is the call to freedom.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original and most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
The warning signs.
First, he made me feel special. He promised he'd look after me, provide for my future. He broke every promise he made.
Millions of Americans afflicted.
I was ready to leave, but he told me he'd change. So I gave him another chance. I was such a fool.
The consequences.
Things only got worse. He started making my decisions for me. About my job, my kids' education, my money, my safety, my future. He took away my choices, but I kept going back to the same politicians.
The diagnosis? Battered voter syndrome.
I fell for the same old lies. They were just playing with my emotions, telling me what I wanted to hear. That's not right.
If you're tired of the two-party system but want to support a principled Libertarian Party, check out the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire at lpnh.org. That's lpnh.org.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are, 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything that you want by dialing toll-free here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. We do have Skype as well. The Skype username is LRN.FM, and if you want to help support Free Talk Live, then please join the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote, and that's a way for you, for $5 a month, to help support what we're doing here and working to bring new radio stations on board with the show. Just got, let's see, there's a new station that I've yet to announce that we'll be announcing within the next, I think, day or so, so I'm looking forward to that. And more on the immediate horizon, all thanks to listeners like you for becoming amplifiers. And you get cool perks as well, like AMP-only Discord chats. We got the Discord AMP chat voice chat room and a text chat room for amplifiers. Also, that includes LRN-FM Patreons and Twitch subscribers. So anybody who contributes some sort of form of money to what we do here, you get access to those special rooms on Discord. AMP-only Facebook group, that's for amplifiers only. The AMP-only call-in lines and more. The AMP-only podcast, also. Go and get all the details. Get signed up. Use any major credit card. Use PayPal. Use Bitcoin Core. It's up to you how you sign up, but please do, because it makes a big difference for us. And honestly, the AMP numbers have been dwindling over the last few years. In fact, we're getting close to only around 200 people that are on the AMP program right now. There were a bunch of names that I had to remove that had not been removed from the active database. Even though they weren't being charged, they were still being counted towards the total.
Interesting.
And so we had like $500 worth of amps that wasn't really there. So we thought we had $2,700 worth of amps. Turns out it was more like $2,200 worth of amps per month. So we can use your help if you aren't an amplifier, or maybe if you think you are an amplifier but you didn't realize your account got canceled. You might want to double check. Go to amp.freetalklive.com and get signed up there and get all the cool perks and bonuses. That's amp.freetalklive.com. Back to the story here from the New York Times, the attack on cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, trying to make it sound like it is an area that is rife with scams. And there are scams, but there's scams whenever you're dealing with money. And cryptocurrency, whether these old school banker types like it or not, is money. It is being used as money. It is valuable. It's 50% less valuable today than it was 2 months ago. But keep in mind, today, it's still like 5 times as valuable as it was a year ago. And when I say it, I mean Bitcoin.
Right.
But many of the other ones are also much more valuable today than they were just 1 year ago. So it's important to keep things in perspective. If you look at the price of a Bitcoin from a moment-to-moment thing, then it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down all day long. But if you look at the long term, the long range, you can see the trend over time has been to go upwards with cryptocurrencies. Back to the story here. So they mentioned that Coinbase has been struggling to keep up with demand, even shutting down their trading for hours at particularly important moments. But goes on the article, it says the biggest number of incidents has cropped up around so-called initial coin offerings, in which entrepreneurs sell custom virtual currencies to investors to raise money for software that they're building. About 890 projects raised over $6 billion last year, a 6,000% increase over the year before, according to ICOdata.io, which tracks the offerings. And that's true. There has been an ICO craze in the last year where people are just pouring money into all kinds of ideas, many of which may never even see the light of more than a drawing board.
The vast majority of them, according to data that I've seen, never go past, we have an idea,
right,
buy our token.
But, back in the highly regulated days of the internet bubble, these were all corporations that were traceable, that people were pouring money into and losing their butts on, some of them.
Yep.
So again, whether there's regulations or not isn't going to be a factor here, because anybody who wants to do an ICO on a cryptocurrency can do that from some other location. They don't have to do it from within the United States. They can do it anywhere.
Right.
And because these are international currencies, all of them, you can send from anywhere in the world into one of these things. And the ICO, even though there are scams within them, is a great idea because it decentralizes fundraising.
And there are even scams within some of the scams.
Like what?
People set up a phishing site and wind up having funds that are supposed to be going to the ICO go to a completely separate wallet.
So they're acting like they're the ICO, but they're not the ICO, and they're getting people to think they are and just send money, and then they never get it back.
And who's to say that some of these ICOs that did wind up getting phished weren't actually planning to follow through on all of the stuff?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that like 90 some odd % wind up not actually delivering. So chances are that the ones that have been phished weren't actually going to wind up being able to follow through on what they said they were going to do anyway.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. There's definitely beware, buyer beware. If you haven't done your research and you're looking to put money into something, whether it's an ICO or whether it's an IPO or whatever, you could lose your investment.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's regulated or not. Whether an industry is regulated has no bearing on whether or not you're going to lose your investment.
Right.
Regulations aren't going to stop a bad businessman or a bad idea or whatever.
Casinos are regulated. You could go in there and put all your money on, black, and then one spin of the roulette wheel, and you've lost your money.
The $240 million raised through one of the most successful initial coin offerings last year, Tezos, is already frozen in a dispute between the founders of the project and the board they created in Switzerland. Even established companies like Kodak have ended up chasing the riches without doing proper due diligence. The company delayed its own initial coin offering after it was revealed that the people assisting the venture had problematic histories and little relevant experience. Most of the newer virtual currency projects borrow their basic design from Bitcoin, which uses a network of computers to maintain its records so that no central government or authority is needed. That design has allowed Bitcoin and other virtual currencies to grow as fast as they have with no regard for international borders, attracting followers from Zimbabwe to South Korea. It has also allowed some of the most talked about uses of the technology, helping people escape hyperinflation in Venezuela or transfer money across borders with lower fees. But it has also allowed in a lot of bad actors. Quote, "It's a perfect storm for the kind of scammy activity we're seeing, and it's not obvious to me how that is easily removed," said Fred Wilson, a partner at the venture capital firm Union Square Venture and one of the earliest advocates of Bitcoin in the Silicon Valley. Quote, "Regulation, ideally prudent and informed regulation, can help, but we may also need to have a big correction to really clean things up," unquote.
Prudent and informed regulation
can help remove scammy activity, he claims.
No. I'm just thinking about prudent and informed regulation, not what he's saying it can do. But wouldn't that basically be regulation created by the market, not some government regulation?
Well, I mean, generally regulations are government regulations, but yeah, if you're talking about some sort of market certification or self-regulation, then, I mean, I suppose.
Right, that would be prudent and informed, because when we're talking about government regulations, we're either talking about some large legislative body that is setting the regulation based on what they've heard a handful of people speak about in a committee hearing, or
like happened here in New Hampshire,
a government bureaucrat that knows what they've heard based off of maybe somebody saying something in a committee hearing and also a lot of hearsay. And it's not really that informed because they're not getting, all sides of the info.
Well, it depends on how how we look at the word prudent. I mean, the term means acting with or showing care and thought for the future. So from the perspective of a venture capital firm or somebody else who's calling for government regulation, it may indeed be prudent for the government to push some sort of regulations because it might benefit the future of the venture capital firm or benefit the future of the agency that's pushing for the regulation. So from their perspective, it may indeed be prudent regulations because it helps them stay alive and compete in an unfair marketplace that the government has been promulgating.
But it's not well informed because they're only getting
half the story. Yeah.
One side of the story.
Good point. I was only talking about the prudent aspect of it here. So there are people like this guy who want to have the government come in. And if you look at the ICO thing, that's something that puts venture capital firms at a disadvantage because these are groups that historically you've had to go to if you've got an idea and you want to pitch an idea or a new product or something and get them to sign on board with it. But now with ICOs, you can just go to the crowd and crowdsource it.
Right, but not only that, but also through, like the venture capitalist IPO sort of things, somebody with $200 is not allowed to invest because you've got to have large amounts of money to invest.
Right. So the ICOs are a threat to the traditional investment system, if you will. We got more coming up here. A full hour to go on Free Talk Live. We're going into space next with the latest on SpaceX. What's going on there? Darryl's going to share that coming up, and you can take control of the airwaves on Free Talk Live.
Warning. If you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-959-5759. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-959-5759. That's 1-800-959-5759. 1-800-959-5759.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, February 7th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.62 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,324 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $37, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,554. Antiwar.com reports the UN Conference of Disarmament on Tuesday in Geneva served as the latest venue for tensions between the U.S. and North Korea, with North Korean Ambassador Ju Yong-choi accusing the U.S. of seeking to fuel tensions with his nation and laying the ground for a possible preemptive strike. The North Korean ambassador has good reason to believe this to be the case, of course, as U.S. media outlets have for weeks been reporting the exact same thing, that the Trump administration is gearing up for a bloody nose attack on North Korea, and such strike could come very soon. U.S. Ambassador Robert Wood, also at the conference, insisted everything was North Korea's fault, but did not appear to contest the idea that the U.S. was gearing up for such a sneak attack. Indeed, Wood said the U.S. believes North Korea is months away from having a retaliatory capability, comments which recently have been seen as arguing in favor of such a U.S. attack sooner rather than later, gambling that North Korea's ability to destroy U.S. cities with nuclear retaliation is overstated.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
UPI reports a $25 million settlement against Trump University was upheld Tuesday after a federal appeals court rejected a challenge from one plaintiff who wanted to take the case to trial. The settlement, which was a result of a class action lawsuit brought by former students who said the school made lavish but unrealized promises about real estate success, was given final approval last March by federal judge Gonzalo Curiel, but Sherry Simpson, a plaintiff who spent $19,000 on Trump University workshops, wanted to opt out of the settlement and file a separate suit against Donald Trump. That request was denied Tuesday by 3 federal judges, with the court affirming the settlement. About 4,000 former Trump University students could receive up to 90% of the tuition they paid for real estate seminars. Simpson's attorney, Gary Freeman, told Politico that his client will give up her pursuit to take the case to trial. Freeman said, "I'm not surprised, but we are disappointed that there will never be a public trial on Trump University and that all of the lurid facts about the fraud won't receive the public hearing they deserve." Trump has already paid the $25 million settlement in the case, but the payout to former students was being held in escrow until Simpson's complaint was resolved.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.
Reuters reports the world's most powerful rocket, the Falcon Heavy from SpaceX, roared into space through clear blue skies in its debut test flight on Tuesday from a Florida launch site where moon missions once began, and another milestone for billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk and his private rocket service. The 23-story tall jumbo rocket, carrying a cherry red Tesla Roadster from the assembly line of his electric car company as a mock payload, thundered off its launch pad in billowing clouds of steam and rocket exhaust at 3:45 p.m. from the Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral. Within 3 minutes, the Falcon Heavy's two side boosters separated from the center rocket in one of the most critical points of the flight. Then, capitalizing on cost-cutting reusable rocket technology pioneered by SpaceX, the two boosters then flew themselves back to Earth for safe simultaneous touchdowns on twin landing pads at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station about 8 minutes after launch. Each rocket unleashed a double sonic boom as it neared the landing zone. Musk told a post-launch news conference the center booster rocket, which SpaceX had predicted was less likely to be salvaged, slammed into the Atlantic Ocean, destroying two of its thrusters and showering the deck of the nearby drone landing vessel. The successful liftoff was a key turning point for space exploration technologies, which stands to gain a new edge over the handful of rivals vying for lucrative contracts with NASA, satellite companies, and the U.S. military. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
America is at a crossroads on many issues, leading many to ask, is it time for the president to blow the silver horn left behind by the Founding Fathers in case the country ever needed them? Of course, the horn, which has been sitting in the Oval Office since 1817, has never been used by a commander-in-chief, but many Americans think now might be the time to summon our forefathers. Which Founding Fathers would come back?
All of them. Look, when you have a bug problem, you call the exterminator. When you have an America problem, you call the Founding Fathers. They know what to do.
We have to keep in mind the Founding Fathers left us with a warning. If you blow the horn with less than pure intentions, it will turn to tin and can never be used.
But a president has to take risks, have the courage to admit that his administration is not all-knowing, and blow that magic silver horn to summon someone who is.
Yes, but what if we become too reliant on them and they disappear after the next new moon, as was written?
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free here to join us and bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Here tonight, it's Ian.
And Darryl.
Whether you want to talk about cryptocurrency, which has been the bulk of the discussions we've been having here tonight, or whatever is on your mind, you are welcome to bring that up. But we're shifting gears, and since we've been talking about tech, let's talk about space tech. Darryl, apparently the folks over at SpaceX have been making headlines in the last couple of days for launching a car into space?
Tesla Roadster with a mannequin in the driver's seat.
Why?
Why not?
Just because they can.
It was basically to prove that they had the ability, and Elon Musk was hoping that the Tesla Roadster would crash into Mars. Unfortunately, he missed Mars. And the Tesla Roadster apparently is headed towards the asteroid belt. And that's fine, I guess. But again, this was kind of a test. Article from The Verge. They actually have a few articles on this. One of them about the Tesla Roadster overshooting Mars. But the one that I'm more interested in is one titled, "Here's What's Next for SpaceX After the Falcon Heavy's First Flight."
The Falcon Heavy.
That's the name of the rocket.
That launched the Tesla?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
The first launch of the Falcon Heavy rocket was mostly a success. The middle core rocket broke apart when it crashed into the water next to the company's autonomous drone ship, and Tesla's payload overshot its target. Now, I want to pause here. The
drone ships.
Other two rockets, they had the the middle core rocket and then 2 on the sides. The 2 side rockets, they did successfully land back on these landing pads.
Wait, the rocket's supposed to come back to a landing pad?
Oh, you're not familiar with these re-landing reusable rockets?
No, I've never heard of such a thing before, because normally with the government rockets, they just crash them into the ocean.
Right.
Yeah.
But SpaceX and I believe Blue Horizon, Blue Origin, whatever the Jeff Bezos owned company.
Okay.
Not Amazon. He owns
Another
space company. The first word in it is Blue. But both SpaceX and this other company have been testing these landing rockets of, you boost off and then they break off and then they come back and they land on a landing pad, meaning that they are able to be reused, which saves a bunch of money because you don't have to keep rebuilding these rockets.
Wow. I mean, it's amazing that it took this long to get there, but we're there. That's good to know.
Yes.
And that's only because the marketplace has been allowed access to space to some extent.
Right.
And so there's been this, like a real space race, instead of it being Russia or the Soviet Union at the time and the United States having a race.
Right now, SpaceX is winning. They've already got a couple of laps above everybody else. Because they've got a car in space that is literally lapping everybody else.
Well, no, it's going one direction, right? It's not going around. It's not in orbit. It's heading towards Mars or whatever, right?
No, the photo that he's posted showing the trajectory shows that it's kind of making a loop sort of thing.
Okay. I haven't looked at the story, so I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Okay.
And that middle rocket that wound up missing the landing pad was the one that he said was most likely to not land on the landing pad. I guess they hadn't actually tested that one fully.
Got it.
But continuing on here, but the launch was an otherwise excellent showcase of what the Falcon Heavy is supposed to be all about. Big-time power to propel big-time payloads. So what comes next for the private spaceflight company? The answer here from The Verge, they say, has 3 parts. One for each of SpaceX's current and future rockets. There is, of course, the Falcon Heavy itself, but it's partially made up of Falcon 9s, reliable rockets in their own right, and the current moneymaker for SpaceX. Also, last year, Elon Musk announced the Big Falcon rocket, or the BFR. The company's the immediate future of the company
Big
will be
Falcon
all about
rocket. That's the public name for it, but the F stands for something else.
Well, all of their things have the word Falcon in it. The company's immediate future will be all about finding a balance between the first 2 until the BFR is ready to fly. The next launch of the Falcon Heavy will not be for another, quote, 3 to 6 months, according to Musk. The cadence of Falcon Heavy flights depends on 2 things. Musk said the rate at which the company can produce the center section of the rocket and customer demand. The outer boosters are easy to produce because they're just Falcon 9 boosters with nose cones attached. The Falcon Heavy's center core uses the same engines as a Falcon 9, but the rest of the metal tube, known as the rocket's airframe, has to be upgraded for each flight. Musk says the rate of Falcon Heavy flights is really dependent on production rate of the airframe of the center core. Since that's the main difference, he says, quote, we can really produce Falcon Heavies at a pretty rapid rate. Whatever the demand is, we'll be able to meet it. And that's really interesting, to where he's saying, yeah, we'll be able to meet whatever the demand is.
Awesome.
Now, the question that I have, and the question that a lot of other people have, and I don't think it's necessarily answered in here, is SpaceX dependent, or will they be dependent upon government contracts? Because we know that Tesla really only survives because of government subsidies.
I've heard that, yep.
And I had read another article where they said that SpaceX is competing for government contracts, but how much of the overall business is that going to account for? Is that going to be 5%, 10%, or will it be 95%?
Are they required to say are they a public company or are they private? Not that you would know. Just asking.
I don't know.
Asking out in the open. Apparently, our chat room's very excited about the Falcon rockets. They're posting pictures of it. They say I should get with the program because they're awesome.
Oh, and you should find the Spaceman GIF.
What's that?
Is
that a meme?
No. So because they put a mannequin in the driver's seat of the Tesla
when
Roadster,
they launched it.
They've got cameras on the sides of the Roadster.
Yeah.
And there's one of the pictures where it's the Roadster floating past Earth from the front, and you just see the mannequin sitting in the driver's seat flying by Earth.
That's silly.
And it just looks like he's spinning in a big giant circle.
Let's go to Jeffrey. He's in Dover, New Hampshire, listening or watching us on twitch.lrn.fm. Hello, Jeffrey. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hello?
Hey, you're on the air.
Niggers.
You can't say that on the radio. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. So what else do you want to share?
Mark, continuing on here, there's a really large, bold letter caption here that says, the Falcon Heavy can launch things direct to Pluto and beyond with no stop needed.
Damn.
The demand is hard to parse at the moment. There are a few
There's probably
launches.
not a lot of things you need to ship to Pluto. But,
True, but
it's pretty cool.
Remember, and I don't know how in tune to space sort of things you are, but the Voyager satellites that were launched before you and I were born just wound up passing Pluto a few years ago.
Right? Okay.
So if there's some government that wants to launch a satellite towards Pluto, this thing seems to be able to do it a lot faster, to where the Voyager satellites had to slingshot around Jupiter and Saturn to where you
to get the
figure out
or
where
something.
it's going, and then you slingshot, get the velocity, and head up.
Wow. The toll-free number tonight, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We can allow you to take control of the airwaves here and bring up what you want here on Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. Or you can join us on Skype at Skype username LRN.FM, or hop in the Discord on-air call-in line through discord.lrn.fm. This is Free Talk Live. More coming up.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 I've said it many times on air and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself.
it called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial on in here. The toll-free number for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM here tonight in the studio. It's Ian.
And Darryl.
For years, libertarians of all stripes have wanted a directory of liberty-minded businesses, and we're helping put one together, Liberty.menu. Well, we didn't do the hard work, which was the programming of Liberty.menu. That was a guy named Patrick who put the site together and did an awesome job with it. He made a super easy-to-use tool for the Liberty community that, at its core, is a directory for events, businesses, and digital content and more. You can easily go there right now to Liberty.menu and sign up for an account. It's free. And then you can add your business. That is also free. It is exclusively, though, for individuals who reject the initiation of force and for those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. These are people who want liberty-oriented customers to come to their business. This is for businesses to be listed, to be seen by libertarian, voluntarist, anarchist community out there, and hopefully increase their business.
And not just business, but also events.
Right, and digital content, as you'll find over at liberty.menu. So get on over there. It's free to list your business. It's free to list more than one. Darryl, you've listed dozens of different things on liberty.menu, and I don't think you've paid a dime to list any of them.
You are correct, sir.
Although you could if you wanted to, because then you'd get some nice upgrades, some, perks that you don't get with the free accounts, but it is free to get rolling there and get listed, and that means that libertarians like you might be finding your business. Go to liberty.menu and get started today. That's liberty.menu as we continue.
And also, after you sign up, input code FTL and you get the Free Talk Live badge.
Excellent, and that will identify you as a Free Talk Live listener.
Yes.
Liberty.menu, use code FTL over there. As we continue here, let's go to your calls and thoughts. We're talking about Elon Musk, SpaceX. Now, is he part of SpaceX, or is he just...
He's the owner.
He's the owner. I didn't even realize that.
That's why they say Elon Musk's SpaceX.
See, I thought SpaceX was like some sort of big thing that was bigger than just, one guy's company or whatever, but neat. Glad to hear that. They launched a Tesla Roadster apparently or something like that.
Yes.
Into space just because they can. Let's go to Rat Speed. He's on the line on our Discord call-in line, discord.lrn.fm.
Hello.
Hi,
How
Rat
are
Speed.
you?
Good. You're on the air.
Oh, yeah. Excellent. So, where have you been, Ian? Come on. Oh, my God.
What do you mean? I'm in Keene, New Hampshire.
This is I'm just kidding with you, but come on, you have to follow with the times. It is
I really
the
don't have
coolest
to.
thing ever. Okay, I highly implore you to.
Okay, what's the coolest thing ever?
The technology that this company has been putting together to create space travel at 1/10 the traditional cost, plus just the general geekiness of it. I mean, come on. He's launching a car into space just like the beginning of the movie Heavy Metal. He's got Don't Panic on the screen. He's got... It was his own personal Tesla Roadster, by the way. That's his actual car that he sent out into space. So I guess he has...
well, technically, since he owns Tesla, any of them that he has not sold are his.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, but he did say it was his personal one. But the other thing too is, what was I going to say? The rocket itself. Okay, so the Falcon Heavy is the strongest thrust rocket that has been around since the space shuttle. So in other words, up until now, everyone's been completely dependent on the Russian government to be able to get to and from the space station. So this changes everything. And it also is the reason why they put on this big show was basically to show to investors, hey, you guys have an alternative. Here's the competition. This is what we can do, and this is how much it costs.
Yeah.
So this really is, I mean, it's only a stepping stone, but it is paving the way for future plans that will hopefully be able to change the course of humanity. I mean, when I saw, I had a really bad day at work yesterday, and when I came home and saw this, I was really, I didn't even want spoilers. I didn't know if the thing had crashed or burst into a million flames. It didn't. So I watched it, and I had started to tear up without realizing. That's how powerful it was. Yeah, because it's those rockets are sexy. They really are. They did a good job. And I've always been into the space program. You know, I was in second grade when the Challenger exploded, and so I've been following along with the space program. But what he's doing, I really like. I really implore you to take a look at some of the things that have happened, because who else would put the Monty Python flying circus theme to a collage of his test rockets having failed and exploded? I mean, you have to have a sense of humor for that. So I just love Elon Musk. I love Tesla. I love SpaceX. It's all great. So
cool.
I just wanted to
everything I've heard about the SpaceX program. I mean, I remember when they first came out years ago, like a decade plus or something like that ago. It seems like it's been quite a while.
It's been a while.
We talked about it back then on Free Talk Live, and that was back when they were offering bounties for people who could get something into low orbit or whatever.
No. You're thinking of the X Prize.
That wasn't the same thing?
No. Not the same thing.
SpaceX, X Prize, sounds like it could be related.
What Elon originally was going to do, back when the Soviet Union had collapsed and they were needing a lot of money, what the Soviet or the former Soviet bloc was doing was they were offering decommissioned ICBMs as cheap alternatives to the space program in the U.S. So what Elon originally was going to do was he was going to purchase a few of those to try to get some of his own stuff up. And then he realized, you know what, we could make our own rockets and do a better job. And that's how SpaceX began.
And he did. All right. Okay, so it didn't have to do with the X Prize then. Okay, got it.
No, originally it was for his own personal projects, and then everything kind of lifted off from there. No pun intended. But yeah, it's great. I really like it.
So are you an investor, or is this a privately owned company? Do you know?
I don't think it's
wiki says it's private.
It's private.
Yeah,
okay.
That one's private. So he's CEO of or three different companies. I think SpaceX, Tesla, and then the other one now that they've reclaimed it, Solar City. So and the X really plays a part in everything that he does, because the very first company that he made that really hugely took off was X.com, and that was the one that combined forces with PayPal and turned into what PayPal became. So yeah, he has a long history of geekdom.
Right on. Hey, Ratspeed, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate your info on this. That's Ratspeed calling from the Discord on-air call-in line, which you can join over at discord.lrn.fm. We got more coming up here. If there's more from SpaceX, we'll talk about that. Also, you can bring up whatever's on your mind here on Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE.
Would it be okay if you had 2 paychecks instead of 1? I'm pharmacist Keith. Dr. Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, and myself want to show you how to get an extra paycheck every month, creating an extra income that will last for years to come by joining Dr. Wallach's crusade, spreading his message of better health. To learn more, visit radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com, radio.recordedvideo.com, or call 866-257-3105 for a recorded message.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Are you a sneezer? If you're not, can you get close to one? I don't literally mean someone sneezing. Sneezer, as defined by marketing guru Seth Godin, is an opinion leader. When a sneezer mentions something, other people catch what Godin calls the idea virus. Seth Godin says some people are more likely to tell their friends about a great new idea. So identifying and courting sneezers is a key success factor for idea merchants. His book, Unleashing the Idea Virus, is the most downloaded ebook in history, and you can download the whole book free. That's how he's making his idea contagious. Click tips, tricks, and other stuff to help you cut through the clutter at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can dial in toll-free here at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got Skype And the Skype username is lrn.fm. We've got Discord at discord.lrn.fm, which is where our last caller was just on a moment ago. Sounded great. You can sound that good too. Just give it a shot over at discord.lrn.fm. And also want to make sure you know that you can get your shopping done with Free Talk Live. Just go to shop.freetalklive.com. You'll find links to websites like Walmart there, where when you click through that link, Free Talk Live gets a portion of your purchase price. So get started with your shopping over at shop.freetalklive.com. As we continue, you are welcome to take control of the airwaves. We've been talking about private space travel in the form of SpaceX, which apparently I'd confused for the X Prize. Apparently
yes,
they are not related.
Completely different things.
X Prize was Google or something, wasn't it? Wasn't Google involved in that?
I think Google became involved, but not until after a year or two of its existence.
So the folks over at SpaceX have launched a fancy rocket that can actually land itself onto its launching pad.
Yes.
Sort of like those drones, I guess, that can come back to where they started if they, if you like lose their connection or something.
In that they return to a spot and safely land, but I've never seen a drone that's been able to put a Tesla into space. Continuing on, article here from The Verge asking, what's next? Elon Musk says the great thing about the Falcon Heavy, and again, that's the particular rocket that was used.
This is the rocket that didn't make it back to its landing pad. The other two, which are smaller versions, did.
There's the main rocket, and then there's the side rockets.
Yep.
The two side rockets did safely land. The main rocket did not.
But it was a test, basically, because that main rocket had never been tested in that way before.
The great thing about the Falcon Heavy is that it opens up a new class of payload. It could launch one more than twice as much payload as any other rocket in the world. So it's up to customers what they might want to launch, but it can launch things direct to Pluto and beyond with no stop needed. In the meantime, the company will also be working on fixing the problem that doomed the Central Core's landing. Musk has said the plan with the Falcon Heavy is to recover at least 2 of the 3 cores on each flight, though recovering all 3 would be ideal.
Sure.
And SpaceX has a good idea of what went wrong with the 3rd landing. The rocket needs 3 of the 9 engines to land and only 1 lit up, so that's where they start. The next Falcon Heavy won't reuse any of the major pieces that survived this flight. The 2 side boosters that went up this week, which had already flown on their own Falcon 9 missions, are being retired. They're older versions of the Falcon 9 architecture, and the company only wants to refly the newest version of the Falcon 9 rocket from now on. Musk said or rather, that's what Musk said during a press conference. So the Falcon Heavy launch, whenever it is, will be powered by brand new center core and 2 side boosters. The company might, however, reuse the cross-hatched pieces of metal at the top of each rocket that help guide it safely to the ground, which are called grid fins. Musk mused in the post-launch press conference about how happy he was to have recovered those. They take a long time to produce, especially since the company began making them out of titanium. He says, those friggin' grid fins are super expensive. That's the most important thing to recover.
All right. Yeah, and so saving a lot of money by being able to reuse a lot of the rocket materials, whereas back in the government launch days, they all just used to crash into the ocean, never to be seen again.
Right. And one thing that's interesting here, there's just a little bit more to the article. He says that he hopes that this first flight of the Falcon Heavy inspires more competition.
Sure.
He spoke about how the rocket was developed using around $500 million of the company's own funds. That's a lot of money, but it's a sliver compared to the multi-billion-dollar price tag of some other famous rockets.
Sure.
Musk said, I think it's going to encourage other countries and companies to raise their sights and say, hey, we can do bigger and better, which is great. We want a new space race. Races are exciting.
No doubt about it. And, when you've got heavy competition, you've got a situation where people are, giving their best and trying to bring costs down. And it sounds like they already have brought costs down significantly. And it did mention earlier in the article that they were already making money off of these rockets, and what that means is that people are hiring them to launch stuff into orbit, like satellite companies, for instance.
Right.
Which, if they're able to, I mean, those are normally pretty expensive launches. If they're able to shave some costs off of the satellite companies, significantly, then every satellite company on Earth is going to want to use SpaceX rather than some government launch pad or whatever.
Right. And scrolling down, because this is a fairly lengthy article, they say that the Falcon 9 was used 18 times in 2017, the most ever for the company. SpaceX's 2018 launch calendar is even more ambitious.
Yeah.
Many of those launches will send satellites or ISS cargo to space, ISS being the International Space Station.
So the government's hiring them to do that.
Yes.
Okay.
And they've
just shut down NASA already.
They've been alternating between SpaceX and Blue Origin and probably one or two other organizations.
And you said Blue Origin is the Bezos company.
Yes, that's the Jeff Bezos. Bezos, the guy behind Amazon.
At some point, NASA is going to look so old and outdated and decrepit in its technology, they should just shut the thing down. I mean, really, the excuse behind NASA that a lot of geek types would have supported in the past is like, if you were to ask people, what's your favorite government agency? A lot of people would say NASA because, it's one of the least offensive things that can sort of position itself as having done mostly good things for humanity over time. But it's still a bureaucratic, bumbling government agency that is relying on billions upon billions of taxpayer dollars and ultimately not really delivering that much besides some really pretty pictures and some interesting, scientific data on occasion.
And speaking of NASA, there still are NASA-trained astronauts that SpaceX will be shuttling to the ISS. So the U.S. government has already worked out a deal with SpaceX here to take some NASA astronauts to the space station.
Interesting.
First, the company will fly a demonstration mission using the Falcon 9 and an empty version of its human-carrying Dragon spacecraft.
The Dragon.
That's slated to happen mid-year.
Mm-hmm.
If that test goes well, NASA astronauts could fly into space in a Dragon spacecraft aboard a Falcon 9 by the end of the year. But it's also likely the crewed mission will be delayed. A recent report from the Government Accountability Office claimed that SpaceX will not be certified to fly NASA astronauts until late 2019 at the earliest.
Okay.
SpaceX has flown the Falcon 9 for nearly 8 years now, and the company's upgraded the rocket along the way, more than doubling the capacity that it can take into orbit.
Pretty cool stuff. I mean, I got to agree, whenever I hear about it, it seems like, hey, right on, they're doing some cool stuff. But I don't follow it closely. I just figure the geeks will get it figured out, and sometime within our lifetime, we're going to see people traveling to space regularly. I know they were, I don't know who it was, but a while back, I don't know if it was Virgin or whoever, they were selling like hotel stays in space.
Not necessarily hotel stays, space flights, but the problem is they're not getting government approval to actually send humans into low orbit.
Really? So there's some sort of permit that they have to get to do that?
They've got to get FAA permission because they want to blast off out of New Mexico.
I see. But if they were to move their launch pad to a different country,
they would have to get permission from that country's government.
It might be easier, though, if you were in an island nation
Richard Branson is a much smarter man than you or I.
Yeah.
And he's done the research. My understanding, the only place in Europe that has an appropriate launch site is somewhere in Ukraine.
Yeah, okay.
And they're not giving people permission.
Gotcha.
So it's Ukraine or the U.S.
Somebody's got to bribe some politicians. It'll happen eventually. The toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. You can bring up what you want, and we'll continue here with more in moments on Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico-Chops. Get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico-Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico-Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Hello, my name is Marjorie Wildcraft. I'm the founder of the Grow Network, which is an online community of people who produce their own food and medicine. We are really into backyard self-reliance. If you want this lifestyle, I suggest your first step be to learn some basic home medicine. Just the other day, my 18-year-old son came to me and said, "Mama, I got a sore throat. Can you fix me up?" And I said, "Sure, Ryan," and in about 24 hours, he was better. The best home medicine for you to start out with is garlic. It's an amazing natural antibiotic, and I can show you how to use garlic to handle ear infections, sore throats, colds, and flus. As a way for you to get to know a little bit more about me and the Grow Network, I've written up an easy introduction on how to use garlic. It's at gcnwellness.com. Now, the station manager told me that I needed to say the URL at least twice, even though it feels kind of weird. But if you're interested in backyard self-reliance, you are one of us. Go to www.gcnwellness.com and let's connect up.
Free Talk Live.
I spent 8.5 years of my life in prison, and I blame it squarely on the shoulders of Christianity and the stories that I was told. If my parents, if the people at the Christian school, if the people at church would have just explained morality to me as opposed to explaining heaven and hell as a reason for doing what was right and what was wrong, I think I would have understood. It's relatively easy. If you do the moral thing in life, your life is going to be better. You're going to sleep better at night. You're going to probably be much more prosperous.
Right.
They say crime doesn't pay. They say it for a reason.
Happen right here in this world. We don't have to wait for an afterlife to experience the consequences of our actions, whether good or bad,
If I would have just been given the gift of morality instead of the gift of some silly, crazy story, I would never have gone to prison.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Marquette of Free Talk Live doing an Edgington post show here at the North American Bitcoin Conference, and it's quite a show. There's about 4,000 people milling about here, and it's been really great. I went through the vendor area or the booth area or whatever it might be, and I'm looking for interviews, looking for people to talk to. Mainly what I'm looking for is people with ideas. I don't want somebody who's pitching their most recent ICO and telling everybody how we're going to get rich or anything like that. I want people that are prepared to change the world. One thing that we talk about on Free Talk Live on a regular basis is Venezuela and the catastrophe that it is, sort of modern Venezuela. What should be, by all rights, the most successful South American country, and they should be giving the United States or at least California a run for its money, because they are so oil rich, and their people have shown themselves to be very entrepreneurial and hardworking. And what I saw was these guys from Onyx Coin, and I've got with me Angel, I'm going to mess this up. Okay, Angel Salazar.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm just going to say Angel from here on out, just because it's so much easier for me. And you are the CEO of Onyx Coin. Give me the 30-second elevator pitch.
Okay, first, thank you very much for the opportunity of bringing up the word of Onyx Project.
Yeah.
Onyx Project, it's the solution for Venezuelan financial problems through blockchain and cryptocurrency. We are bringing Onyx as a payment method for 8 million Venezuelans in this year. So, as you said, that's technology being used.
Yeah, so it's you say it's technology being used. Is Onyx Coin being used? How does it? How do people get it in Venezuela?
The project started last year as a small project because in Venezuela we weren't sure if it was totally legal to use cryptocurrency as in other countries, but since December, the Venezuelan government...
I remember that there are some people in Venezuela that the government's been going after for mining. So, they're hooking into the power grid and they're just running their miners or whatever, and the government didn't like that, which of course nobody who supplies electricity is going to like you just hooking in and getting free electricity. So those are the only stories I've heard about crypto coming out of Venezuela.
No, but that's true. But the government saw the opportunity of reconnecting to the international market through cryptocurrency, and they changed their view through cryptocurrency and blockchain. And they started calling us, the private sector, to learn about the technology and how to benefit from it. So the course of the path changed drastically, 180 degrees.
180 degrees, yep. What? Now, one of the things that would concern me immediately when the government of Venezuela gets involved is what if they want to socialize your currency? What's going to happen?
You can't do it because it's not property of anyone. It's free on the web. We are a public blockchain. We are open source. So you can't gain control or you can't regulate it. You can take control from it. But the government currently it's supporting the development of blockchain in Venezuela because they are taking advantage of it. If the Venezuelans learn about Bitcoin and about cryptocurrency, about blockchain, and use it on daily basis, they can create market for the petrol. So they open the doors for all the projects to come to Venezuela and start pitching ideas, solving problems in different sectors like mining sector, development sector, financial sector, and that's a really good opportunity for the private and for the entrepreneurs.
So one of the things that's the problem with the Bolivar Fuerte that currently is the currency in Venezuela is that the government has this official exchange rate, and then there's sort of the real exchange rate. So I don't know what it is. I haven't looked before our interview or anything like that. But I'll just throw out some numbers. So like in one case, the government will say it's 30 bolivars to $1, and then you go on the market out there, and it's 14,000, right? Like it's that big of a disparity, tremendous disparity.
It's a huge spread.
Yeah, what the government says is reality and what is in fact reality. So how are you going to address that? I mean, if you're trying to sell your stuff at the spread, the Onyx coin, if you're trying to sell that at the government spread, it's not going to go anywhere, is it?
Okay, the Venezuelan government has a control over the exchange in Venezuela from fiat currency, between fiat currencies, Bolivar and US dollar, for example. There's an exchange control, but they took it off for cryptocurrencies. In Venezuela now, it's legal to build or to create or to run an exchanger with cryptocurrency between bolivars, cryptocurrencies, and cryptocurrencies to other fiat currencies. So over there, you can create new market rates. For example, you can exchange Onyx to Bolivar, and you don't have an exchange a rate controlled by the government, only by the open market.
So this will be essentially making the Venezuelan government, forcing them to be sort of responsible surrounding exchange rates and those sorts of things because they won't have control. They're trying to enterprise on the...
they don't want control over the exchange rate on cryptocurrency. They want to open the market again for the the importers, the exporters, the huge groceries companies, that to regain access to the international markets on their own terms. Okay, you can get the Venezuelan US dollars, but you can with bolivars buy Onyx, and then you can resell the Onyx to Bitcoin or to other cryptocurrency or to other currencies.
What so is it? If the government's behind Onyx Coin, or at least benignly accepting Onyx Coin, what are businesses accepting it currently? I mean, if I'm a Venezuelan who's according to the news here in the United States losing something like 14 pounds a year or whatever it is, and I want to buy some food with my Onyx Coin, can I do that now, or is this something that would be implemented into the future?
Both.
Okay.
Right now, there's an informal merchant directory. We have like 1,000 merchants accepting formally Onyx.
That's pretty big. Are they
Yes.
in mostly one city, or are they throughout the country?
Spread all over the country.
Okay.
But now we have created a new division, enterprise division, on Onyx project to integrate the admin systems and the formal admin system, the point of sales of the grocery stores, that to ease up the path for them to accept Onyx as a payment method, because now it's legal. So we are teaching them how to accept it, and we are bringing the solutions to them, the tools.
So is there a point of sale software that's integrated with your project so that you have that, or are people, I don't know anything about Venezuela, I've never been there in my life, I don't know if people are writing up sales slips and keeping their records that way, or if they're using computers, or what are they doing?
Venezuela is a really technological country.
Yeah.
We have a good internet penetration, and Venezuelans.
That's what I figured.
Yes, we have awareness about the technology in Venezuela. For example, there is one cell phone for each Venezuelan.
Yeah.
And there's 15 million smartphones in Venezuela currently being used. But this is good for cryptocurrency because the Venezuelans are used to the technology. So if you show them something new, they can embrace it easy. We are currently developing...
It's just an app at this point.
Yes,
right?
We are developing 2 point of sales. One hardware with Raspberry Pi and an Onyx wallet integrated to that point of sale, and a digital point of sale for the huge groceries companies with a POS and touch, so they can charge on Onyx and exchange immediately between Bolivar and Onyx.
How long until those point of sale software things, soft and hardware, are put together? How long for that?
The software, the digital point of sale, maybe 2 months, and the hardware maybe 6 or 8 months because it involves more development.
So one thing that I can see off the bat is that Onyx Coin will now be tradable. I don't know if that's the right term. Ownable by anybody in the world, right?
Yes.
So for whatever reason, whatever the rate of the exchange is in Venezuela currently for Onyx Coin, maybe Venezuela's acceptance of this, the Venezuelan government's acceptance of this, will cause the value to go up. People can speculate on that. There's I don't know, thousands, tens of thousands of people in the world that make their money just doing foreign exchange, work.
Trading.
Yeah, trading and that sort of thing. So I would just imagine that this would get tossed into the mix, right?
Yes, of course, because Onyx is undervalued right now. And our goal is to be used by 8 million Venezuelans in 1 year. And you have a huge demand and a really low offer for the Onyx, because there's only 30 million Onyx on circulating, and the issuance is 28,000 every day.
Yep.
So you have a growing demand and a stable offer.
To hear the rest of this great interview, just go to archives.freetalklive.com and get the MP3. Look for today's date, download it, or just listen on the website. archives.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our